The light produced by welding is extremely bright and potentially harmful. Looking at the welding arc without proper eye protection may burn the eye. This condition is called flash burn, and while it can be treated, repeated occurrences can cause permanent eye damage. To protect workers in the welding area, use permanent booths or portable partitions to keep the light contained, and make sure that anyone who's welding or observing welding is wearing protective eyewear. Welding sparks are very hot and can burn through or ignite most fabrics. Also, the electric arc produces infrared and ultraviolet rays that can burn exposed skin. Be sure to wear proper clothing whenever you're welding. Wear leather capes, sleeves, and gloves as necessary, and always keep your clothing free of oil, grease, or other flammable materials. Wear high-top leather shoes or boots, never athletic or other shoes made of fabric. Always wear a helmet equipped with a welding lens when welding to protect your eyes from flash burn and permanent eye damage. Welding lenses screen out almost 100% of the infrared and ultraviolet rays generated by the arc. The higher the current, the brighter the arc, and the darker the lens should be. Make sure the lens is matched to the work. Welding creates intense heat, sparks of molten metal, and very bright light which can damage eyesight. You must remain aware of the area around you and take necessary safety precautions to protect yourself, other people nearby, and property in the work site. Working too closely together can create an extremely dangerous situation for you and those around you. Because welding generates sparks and heat, you must be aware of any flammable materials near the weld area that might be ignited. Be especially careful when welding on pressurized containers or containers for flammable materials, because they can easily explode or burst into flames. Acceptable methods of cleaning such containers before welding are outlined in AWS A6.0, Safe Practices for Welding and Cutting Containers that have held combustibles. Never use oxygen for blowing off equipment or clothing, since it supports combustion and can cause a smoldering spark to burst into flames. Keeping your welding equipment and materials well maintained and neat is essential for working safely and efficiently and to prevent electrical shock. Electricity follows the path of least resistance, so poor connections or frayed cables can create a secondary circuit that allows the current to flow where you don't want it to. Every time you weld, make sure all electrical connections are tight and secure and that none of your cables are frayed or damaged. Since you're working with electricity, you must be aware of water in the welding area, since water can conduct electricity from the weld point to any place it touches, including you. Always keep the welding equipment dry and never place it in or near water. Keep the welding area dry if possible, but if water is unavoidable, stand on a dry wooden board or dry rubber mat. Keep all your clothing dry, and since your perspiration can conduct electricity, change clothes often in hot environments. Finally, be careful where you place the gun. Immediately after you've completed a weld, the wire extending from the gun will be physically and, in some cases, electrically hot and should not come in contact with your body, any flammable material, any type of metal, or any gas cylinders. And as long as the gun is attached to the power source, it has the potential to be electrically charged, so always treat it as if it could deliver a shock. Proper ventilation of your workspace is extremely important. Plating, coatings, paint, or other materials on the base metal or near the arc area may give off smoke and fumes that can cause reactions ranging from mild eye and nose irritation to permanent injury or death. In addition, the shielding gases used for welding or purging can displace the oxygen in an enclosed space and cause suffocation. Under certain conditions, it may be necessary to wear air masks or self-contained breathing equipment. Because their contents are under very high pressure, gas cylinders present an explosion danger. Protect cylinders from extreme heat of any kind and never weld on a cylinder. Heat will cause the gas inside the cylinder to expand, which may cause an explosion. Be sure a threaded protector cap is fastened to the top of the cylinder to avoid damage to the valves whenever you're not using it. A broken valve can release extremely high pressures so rapidly that the heavy steel cylinder will fly through the air like a missile. Be extremely careful not to puncture or drop cylinders, and be sure that they're always securely fastened to a wall, cylinder rack, or cylinder cart. Cylinders can be moved by rolling them in the upright position, but using a cylinder cart will improve control and reduce the risk of back injury.